everybody, and welcome to Between Plays Stock Market Strategies. And once again, we are here with crypto with Alex. How you doing, man?
Amazing, Al. Amazing because we nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely, 100%. And for all of those that are wondering, so we were talking about the pre Ethereum merge, about what was going to happen in the Ethereum merge, and we were talking about going from a proof of work to a proof of staking. It was like you made like a little bit of a joke, about that, and we're gonna put that up, do a short reel to put, you nailed it because
Use Ethereum as a company type of thing.
yeah.
You're going to say they're not, obviously, because the SEC is going to go after them.
Yeah.
But who is them? Right.
Lo and behold, a few days later, the SEC started looking at it. So great call, Al. Great call, man. Great call. And let's just go over this a little bit here. So I don't, maybe let's back up and let's start, with the macro environment now and what's going on in the macro environment, because we will get into that whole SEC thing. But I think that we're looking at stock market crashing, possibility of it going lower. We're looking at real estate, like, and it started with the Evergrande, right? That's where, we're getting hints
Not
that
over. It's not
no, not
over.
over. No, no. We're getting hints that, it
Hmm.
was going down, right? And then you start seeing pictures in China that they're like just, you know, taking down all these huge condo plexes that were supposed to go up, but it's just too many built and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And even in the Canadian market and stuff like that, like the real estate boom is now a real estate bust. Nothing is moving. I know some real estate agents, their phone stopped ringing. It's almost like a light switch, right? Or a faucet, you stop the water flow, like the money flow, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about this for the whole macro, and how is it, how what is crypto going to be playing in that?
Well, today we're Wednesday, and in what, a few hours, the Fed's gonna talk. Right now, while we're filming this, so when it's gonna come out, probably the Fed's gonna have made their decision. So everyone's waiting for how much he's gonna put it up. The interest rate
Yeah.
by how many basis points, and mostly also what is language? What is his language? Is he going to be hawkish or is he going to be a dovish? But in Jackson Hole, the Fed chairman, he was very, very, very direct. Usually, these people they make huge speeches, and you have to read between the lines. This one, it was pretty crazy direct. The only thing that they want to do is to fight inflation, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So everything else, if it goes down, oh well, right? It's the lesser of two evils, and that includes speculative stocks. And right now, crypto is very much speculative, and anything that's not Bitcoin, that's in the category of altcoin, is even more speculative. So you can imagine that there's so much down pressure that even if you have such a big news, which is and was the merge, it's going to bring it down anyways, right?
Yeah, well, that's absolutely true. And a lot of these the stock market, it'll go up a little bit and then it'll just come right back down. And I think it was about a year ago, in an I was in an interview and I had said that I wouldn't be surprised. And this, I think it was around the TSX was around 21 or 20, and I was saying that, according to history and stuff like that, when I did the whole bunch of verifications, I was going, I think, around 21.5, and I think we're at 19 at that point. I was like around 21,000 points, that it would just, 21,000, 22,000, it was just going to start going down, maybe going to 16,000 points. And then if anything's underneath that, it would just be like, oh, we'd be in a really bad state of affairs. And I was watching on Kitco, um, in an interview, this gentleman was saying that, you know, he's looking at like a sell off, in the macro environment, in order to adjust, I believe, what is going on. I mean, what is your take on that?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that during the COVID crisis, there was a lot of easy money.
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of easy money.
Yeah.
And geez, I hope they knew that the inflation was going to come because of it. I mean, they have all these PhD degrees. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they were
I hope
printing,
they
right?
teach
I
that
mean
at
it
their
was just
school
like
there.
chink 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 chink. I mean, I get it though. I mean, what there okay, I would say what choice did they have? But I mean there were choices, right? It was either you allow all the business to stay open, people wear masks,
Hmm.
and we deal with, with it as best, instead of shutting down the economy, shutting down the world, as what occurred. But I mean, they went with like, let's stay home. And I think that there was more to it than just fighting off the COVID, right? I honestly believe that there was sort of an experiment also within that realm, which is, you know, um, what happens if everything stops moving? How much does the CO2 go down? How much does this, will, marine life and animals, will they come back to, and they did actually get some numbers from that. There are numbers that they did take, which means that they were prepared to take those numbers.
Well, remember that famous whale that went to the all the way to the city of Montreal, right?
Yeah,
Remember during because there was no more maritime traffic. So I don't know. Is it caused by that? I mean, it was the first time in 15,000 years that there was a whale that came all the way to Montreal. So it was a
e-
weird coincidence. But
exactly.
go
You're
ahead.
right. You're right. And the St. Lawrence River was always known for having thousands of beluga whales, and there's hardly any left, you know. So yeah, I mean, there have been studies. We have seen things like that instance where you have a big whale, like, right, I mean, not a beluga whale, like a whale, right? With a massive tail, right in the St. Lawrence River, right in Montreal. And and then there's all those so yeah, they printed money like crazy. They kept people home. And I think that they did have choices, but I think they said, look, we need to see what happens. Also, we can fight off the COVID by doing this. We'll print, and that's it. So yeah, inflation, I mean, they must have known, right? So we haven't seen the bottom here. We're still looking at like a sell-off.
And I think they knew. I think they're smart people. I think they had to do it because of the health issues and everything like that.
Yeah.
They had to, they had to keep people safe, and also they had to inject money into the system. But they know that as quickly as they injected money, they have to get it out, right? Or else we're gonna. I read this book when money dies. It was basically documentary, not a documentary, but a work done on the post First World War in Germany and the effects of hyperinflation.
Mm,
And I was reading it, and then I was looking at what's going on right now, and it's pretty crazy because we're getting there. We're getting close. I mean, the only difference is that the U.S. dollar is a reserve currency, right? Which
yeah.
was not the case with the Deutschmark back then. Um, so what I'm trying to say is that I think they're scared of going back down that path, and they're quickly trying to take care of it. And the last time something like that happened was in the 70s, right? With the when gold just went balloon towards the sky
Okay.
because there was too much inflation, and then Volcker decided to put it up, and interest rates were at 20%. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, that was like around 79, 81 or something like
Yeah,
that.
and we're
Yeah.
like we're pretty much into it right now. So the question is he going to do a Volcker and jack up the prices like crazy, or is he going to do it, incrementing, all the time up and up
Yeah,
every
incrementally.
meeting? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, he could definitely be doing that. Um, but I mean, there's so much other stuff now to take into account, like this new technology. And look, we go way back. You've been talking about the cryptos for a very long time. And with Bitcoin in beginnings, I didn't understand it. I still need to do a lot of more research on crypto itself. And I got myself a nice little book here. I had seen Elon Musk walking around. It was a picture of Elon Musk with his hand. I don't know if it was digitally like fixed. So it would be that it was like this book right over here, like cryptocurrencies, and to explain everything. But I was listening to it and to people talking like on Kitco and stuff like that, and other places. I was just listening to these people talk, that are into the crypto world, and our conversations and stuff like that. I mean, Ethereum, basically tokenized um assets.
Mm-hmm.
It tokenized assets, and do you think that maybe in the long run, Ethereum, especially becoming a proof of stake, you know, even if the SEC does state, well, because we don't know, we'll leave it up to the lawyers, right? But do you believe that Ethereum in the long run may be able to surpass Bitcoin?
Okay, so here's the thing. Right now, right, price went crashing, and more so than Bitcoin.
You
Okay.
know what?
Yeah.
Let's share a screen on that. All right,
Yeah.
let's share a screen on that. Hold on a second here. All right, do you see that there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so we have over here in 2021, we had this really beautiful high of 5,829. All right, so go ahead, tell me what you're thinking.
So just go back, for the last month, the 1 month
So let's do
part.
the 1 month. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can see, right, it was going sideways up, if I can say so.
Yeah.
And then right at the merge date, okay, that's when everything just went down. All right.
Yeah.
And that was a classic of buy the rumor, sell the news. And
True.
that's what the part where people gotta be careful, because the big boys, when they play this game, they hear all these things. Yeah, their merge is fantastic, and it is fantastic, and it's going to be fantastic for the long term. But the small guys, they're thinking, oh, this is a game changer. Now, at the date of the merge, everything is going to go like hyper, high. Everything's great, and we live in unicorn and beautiful, a world that doesn't exist, in the sense
Yeah.
that the people that have the money, they see that as an opportunity to go, I'm going to sell the news. Okay.
Yeah.
They But the thing is, they want it to go down, right? They want it to go crashing down, so that they know themselves that it's a fantastic news, that the merge is great. um that's for the long term, but they want to get in at the right time, at the right price. And
Yes.
if they get it crashing down, then people are going to think, oh, this thing is over finally. I thought that the merge was the thing, was the event, and look what happened, it went crashing down. So they get discouraged.
Absolutely.
And that's the classic of buy the rumor, sell the news, right?
Classic.
And the
It's
big boys
classic.
are into now, to the crypto, and it wasn't like that before. Before, it
No.
was only the tech guys, or some people, buying and selling these coins on the internet, right?
Yeah,
There wasn't any institution buying. It's a different
absolutely.
game.
Yeah, it's a digital guys, nerds.
I didn't
Um,
want to say it, you said it.
well, nerds is a great thing. I mean, my one of my favorite all time shows on TV is The Big Bang Theory. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm actually waiting for that to go down in price so I can buy the hard copies and have that up, inside here so I could show it to my kids because listen, my whole life I've loved tech, and you know what? I think that the days of Revenge of the Nerds, I think those days are long gone. Those I don't think those days will ever come back again, where you had a certain class that was like better than the other class. I think that with this world that we're in today, with digitization, the internet, computers, Apple, Samsung, all these, you know, satellites and binary codes and cryptos. I think that the nerd world is a very popular one, and I
Well, look
and
at the
and
video games, right? When we were kids, the not everyone played video games,
it
and
was the
now
nerds.
if you don't play video games, right?
Yeah.
and you're not good at it, then it's you're like a social
Oh
outcast.
yeah. And that's the whole other world of like online gaming. Uh, you have these huge competitions at millions of dollars, and exactly like I grew up Atari, Commodore 64, playing all these types of things and Nintendo. Uh, and yeah, and when I was a kid, I probably was classified, more of a nerd that took karate. But yeah, and you know what? Today it's a very popular thing, and I don't use the word in any way to demean, but actually, people should be proud of of being smart. Everybody should be proud of anything, anyways. Doesn't matter what you're in, right? Doesn't matter if you're a jock. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody's got a skill set, and that's what I tell my kids too. Doesn't matter whatever you're good at, just be the best at it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Absolutely.
Just yeah. So let's get back to this over here, and so so do we believe that Ethereum, will be, could it possibly be going up from this point?
Well, absolutely. When? Who knows? How low? Who knows? Now it's in Canadian, so I usually try to follow the US dollar price because it's easier to follow there.
So if I put it down in the US dollar
Yeah,
price
US
right
dollar,
here.
yeah. So I think the other thing also is that we're talking about macro with the Fed and everything like that, but let's not forget we talked about it in the past. Until it changes, and maybe this event was the beginning of a new type of cycle, but the Bitcoin cycle decides when prices go up and when prices go down, and it started going down when you see that big spike there in 2000, just before
2021.
2020. Yeah, November. That's when Bitcoin started to go down. That was the peak in Bitcoin.
Yeah, November.
Okay, the
That's
six
right.
the
Yeah,
69 there.
that's right. November.
So they decide now. Here's the thing. I mean, the Bitcoin cycle technically would end in November, starting November. It could be different this time, and then we can get into it another time. But and it's closely linked to the merge, which was this year, obviously in September. So the next 4 years, right? Is it going to be more September, November? But I think what's going to happen is that since two big events happen near each other, I think it's just going to put more emphasis on the fact that this cycle in all cryptocurrency is very strong and it's here to stay. Um, and
I
it's like breathing, right? It's like
yeah,
you breathe in, breathe out. That's how the cycle worked. When you look at it the long term here on your graph, right? It's like a small spike, then calm, up, back up. So it almost looks like those in the hospitals there. The scans go.
yeah. I see what
It's a
you're
bit
saying
like
there.
that. And since it's so young, right? The cycle itself, it's more rapid, like a baby. When a baby breathes, and you look at the lines there in the hospital,
Yeah,
you think, my
yeah,
God, his heart's going to stop or something, right?
yeah, because it's going
Because
so quickly.
it's going so quickly.
Yeah,
Well, that's the same thing with these with this market.
yeah, it's highly
But we went over
volatile.
that before.
Yeah, it's highly volatile, and the more I look into the technology with Ethereum and Bitcoin, all this kind of stuff, I believe that some have their place in the new history with the metaverse and everything that's coming out. Decentralization also of the internet, and also, which I thought was very interesting, is that because places like China um, are not interested in Bitcoin, they're not interested to have these decentralized type assets. What I thought was a very interesting way of looking at things was that if the Americans adopt a decentralized type, well, a system, let's just say a system, okay, they adopt a digital system, all right, um, that allows people from all around the world to be able to trade easier, and of course, naturally, the Americans would, quote unquote, own it. All right, okay, it allows like all these other countries that have a hard time to get cash or whatever, or to trade or something. It facilitates even in like all these other countries. And what we're talking about, like with Ripple, basically, it just facilitates trade. It facilitates going from one country to another to exchange your money. But whereas in China, they're like, it's our money, it's this, it's that, and we were talking about the fact that it was funny because if you get it from China, because they don't give a crap about kickbacks or whatever, that a boatload of US dollars show up over there, and then that adds to more money in the system that the Americans have to somehow eliminate from the system in order to add its value, or else inflation goes up, right? Which is what's happening locally. So you have this whole world that's just transforming. And I think that for people to not understand that cryptocurrency, digitization of the US dollar, I mean, to not understand that it's the future and that these other players have a place in it, I think it's and I use this word and with utmost respect, is just ignorance towards the system and where we are going in the future.
So you brought up 2 points that I want to touch on. The first one, I'd like to talk about it more right now, and then the second one, if you don't mind, for another episode. Talking about more in depth of Bitcoin and the how exactly the fact that you can take that money and put it in your pocket and go somewhere else with it, right? And especially in moments of war, like North America, we're really lucky, but in Europe right now, they're obviously in war, and in the eastern part of it, and Ukraine and Russia, and some people, they can't even take gold with them, right? They're too scared of getting it stolen or whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's where we're going to get more into it. Why I think specifically Bitcoin is the best for that. But the other thing I want to talk about right now is Ethereum. I mean, right. So I sent you an article about Gary Gensler of the SEC saying, "Oh, look at this. I mean, most of the nodes and most of the activity, which like a lot of it is in Coinbase, is based in United States. Therefore, Ethereum is ours, right?
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
huge. So
Huge.
that means he's saying it's ours. Does he say I want to destroy it? Or, oh my gosh, this is a the cryptocurrency market, or the crypto. I don't like saying cryptocurrency, but the crypto market is a trillion ish. It can go to 10 trillion. It could go to who knows how high.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm not a betting man, but I'd be able to bet on that he wants it to be, obviously he wants it to be
Like the
legislated.
market
He
space where you
wanted,
got like $100 trillion over there. You got like 100 trillion
yeah, I want a
at
piece
stake
of
here.
that
There's a lot
action,
of
right?
growth potential here.
Yeah, and I want a piece of that action. I can't just let it go like that and then we don't collect anything on it. I mean, that would be completely ridiculous, and I totally agree with them.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're using up, U.S. energy. They're using up U.S. infrastructure when you think about it.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, listen, you got some stuff from being in the United States, so you got to pay the piper,
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, right? And that's what I want to get back into Bitcoin eventually. Why Bitcoin is completely different for the rest is he's saying, Gary's saying, ETH is a security, right? Because as we said before, he basically said exactly what we're saying. And he didn't come up with it just like that, right? He just waiting for the right moment. And his
Yeah.
speech, when we're talking about that, it was during the day of the merge, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as if this is something that's not important to them.
No.
They created a huge conference the day of, and so basically he's saying that staking is dividend,
Yeah.
right? Like having stocks,
Yeah.
and a coin is just a fancy word for stock.
Yeah.
So it's stock ownership.
Yeah.
So oh no, all those people on YouTube saying, yeah, no, it's different. It's a new web. All these old people, they don't understand it. They're dumb. They get ready for the future. No, we're not. It's not. We're staking. We're helping out the company, and they're giving us the money back. We don't need to pay taxes on that. Well, what do you think shareholders do? Right?
That's exactly what we
I mean,
do.
that's
We
exactly the
put in
whole point of
money.
the share. That's why they're
That's
giving them dividend.
that's right.
So,
Exactly.
and they're not reinventing the wheel here. That's what the most important thing. They're not reinventing the wheel,
No.
and that's what you got to be scared of these things. That I'm a little bit younger than you, but I was trading back in the day of investing
Yeah.
more, back in the day of the Nasdaq bubble, right?
Yes.
And the same stuff was being said back then. Is that we're
Yes.
reinventing the wheel, right?
Yeah.
But
No, the
the whole
technology is
Nasdaq,
different. The technology is different. That's
right?
for sure.
Yeah,
But how they are rewarding each other, where public can put in their money, this is not reinventing the wheel. It's exactly what we've been
it's the
doing.
same thing. And then
Same
all
thing.
those and all those bad apples out there that are ruining the crypto market, they're just using the old Ponzi scheme thing, right? And why are they using it? Because it's not regulated,
Yeah.
and they can get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep on saying regulation is so important, because it gets away. It can, weed out some of the bad apples
Yeah. It's,
that are they're
it's
just
a,
destroying it for everyone.
yeah. I mean, look, a lot of people can be like, oh, well, it's great to have dereg. Yeah. But at a certain point, depending on how serious you want to take it, things get regulated to a certain degree, right? We have
So here's
to,
my example. Okay,
yeah.
sorry about cutting off,
No,
but I
no,
just want
no.
to
It's all
say
good. Go for it.
it's a little bit like we have kids, they play soccer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we played soccer,
Yeah.
or football. Sorry for Europeans there, but yeah. So it's fun, when you have kids that play 3, 4 years old, fives, and they play around. So they kick the ball around, and if one of them shoves them down, like, oh, sort of like the dad or the coach whistles and, okay, keep on playing and don't do that again, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, when the kids get stronger and they want to play, they want to have rules,
Yeah.
right? They want to they want to
Yeah.
have
Because the injuries become more serious.
the injuries become more serious, and the impacts are more serious, and
Yes.
people are more serious. So they want to play,
Yes.
they want to score, they want to pick up dandelions, right?
That's right.
So that we're exactly like that in the stock market, in the sense
Yes.
that the major players are there,
Yeah.
right? They're not picking up dandelions,
No.
and they want to know that if ever a guy gets one, two, yellow cards, he's going to get kicked out,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No,
Or
the
else if
impacts
they're
are more serious and they
and
want
they're
more
not going to
serious.
stay
Yeah.
in a field, they're
No.
not going to stay in a field that people can just deck them, hit them behind the head and then get away with it.
Yeah.
They're going to play some other sport.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not little kids anymore. Now you're playing with the big boys.
And that's exactly where we are. And that's exactly why we need regulation, because we're now at the age of, well, look at it. Look at my example is pretty good in the sense that I don't want to say it, but Bitcoin's an adolescent, right? Early
Okay.
teen, early
Okay.
teen.
Okay. Okay.
Ethereum is still what's 2013. It was created, right? It was put in market in 2015. So it's like a 7-year old, right?
Yeah. It's young.
So we're like in soccer, the 7-year olds, you're starting to have, real games and
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
referees, and that's
That's
where
true.
we are at in the crypto market.
Yeah, and Ethereum, what's really great about it's the open source of it is it's still decentralized, and it's tokenized assets, which makes it very attractive.
So that's the other thing I want to talk about. Another one is why it is decentralized, but way not as much as Bitcoin. And that's why Bitcoin is different from the rest. And we'll get more into it another time
Yeah, and
there,
they're
but
like Bitcoin's like what? It's like gold or long-term bonds or something like
it's
that. It's
commodity. You
yeah,
already said it.
yeah.
Yes.
So we have our differences, and we see where it's going. So do you, in your foretelling mind here, being able to, foresee, that Gary Gensler would have, taken a look at this because you predicted it before, the merge. You were saying it, and it's on recording. It's there on our last show, and it was before. So the thing is do you believe in the long term, in your opinion, of course, that Ethereum has an opportunity of going back up eventually?
Absolutely. I mean, the merge went well,
The
right?
merge
So
went
that was the
well.
most important thing.
Yeah.
If the merge didn't go well, it would have crashed even more, right?
Yeah.
Um, it did crash a lot, but it's still, and as I said,
It still held well. It still
yeah,
held very
yeah, it's
well.
held, and it
Yeah.
goes back, going back up. Yeah, it's. Don't
If you
forget,
look
it's.
percentage wise, and whatever, it
Yeah,
still held itself pretty well.
I really compare it to well, like many others. I mean, I didn't invent that notion, but I really find that it makes total and absolute sense. We're exactly like in the Nasdaq, right? In the Nasdaq crash 2001,
Yeah.
and who knows? I mean, back then we all thought that Netscape would win,
Oh
right?
my God. Yeah.
So we're all Netscape, we're all on Yahoo, all these other. How many search engine were there? There was
Oh
like
yeah, there was
so much.
Netscape, Yahoo. There was Dogpile, DuckDuckGo. Look, there was
There
there
was
was
15 of
tons.
them, like 60. I don't
AOL,
know.
AOL was really popular.
Yeah,
AOL in the
yeah.
beginning,
So who
uh,
knows? I mean,
and then
all I
Google just
and they
out
came
of
out of
nowhere,
nowhere. They came out of nowhere.
nowhere came out of nowhere,
Nowhere.
and
Yeah. So to say that, oh, Ethereum is for sure 100% going to be the winner because it's got such an advantage, that's what we thought with Netscape, right?
very true, very true. And you
So
know what?
do yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So yeah, obviously if I think it's not a sure shot. I think it's not like gambling, but I mean it's putting some percentage wise chances. I think the chances are higher for Ethereum, right? But any other one can win. So let's say you put yourself back in the past, right? We're in 2001 right now, and you're saying, okay, well the internet market crashed and whatnot. I'm going to slowly get back in. What would you do? What would I do? Is I'd take a lot of my stack of money, whatever, stacks of money, whatever,
Well,
the
yeah,
money I have,
you would take
put it
your
around.
portfolio
Yeah,
and you would diversify it properly.
yeah. So let's say there's a 30% chance, whatever, that Ethereum wins. Well, you put 30% of it in there and there, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, diversifying your portfolio is extremely important. I mean, that's something over here that we've been talking about since day one. I mean, there's even articles up on our .com, on our www.betweenplays.com. I mean, just there alone, diversifying is key. Sometimes you might see your money grow a little bit slower than you'd like if you were able to take one that take more into one that actually goes up. But if it goes really down, you're also in a bet. So risk, right? It's all about risk and weighing that risk, and and exactly that, making sure that your portfolio assumes all the risk. So
Absolutely.
you know what? I think that we should get into that Polygon like you wanted to do. We should also talk about the Bitcoin, or what you were saying about, we were talking about like in war, you know, you're going to carry gold around. Are you going to carry, all your money around? Can you go to the bank that was bombed? So I know where you're going with that one. I think that that'd be a very interesting conversation for the next time.
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. And why Bitcoin I think is the best of all those ones.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So you know what? On that note, everybody, Ethereum merge went well. We're looking at positivity here in the future. And let's just keep an eye on what's going to go for with the SEC on this note. And the fact that it is based in the United States gives the SEC even more power. So on all that, never forget, research, prepare, plan, execute, and stay strong, everybody. To the next show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Between Plays Stock Market Strategies. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Head off into our description below if you'd like to know where all of our social media links are, and also the podcast, whether it be Apple or Spotify. We will be doing interviews with CEOs, with analysts, and it's not only on the stock market itself, but also on cryptocurrencies and blockchains. We will have guest speakers. We will be doing panels. You will be able to enjoy a lot of different content. Have a great day, and always remember, research, prepare, plan, execute. Stay strong.